Welcome, everybody, to the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle celebrity talk show series. We're so excited to welcome a brand new guest who's joining us from Virginia, USA. But when you hear her lovely European accent, you realize she wasn't necessarily from that area, but she makes it her beautiful home and she loves it. And she's a brilliant and award-winning author, writer. She's also a dancer, too. Liliane Fortna is joining us here because we are going to be talking about, so apropos for this time of the year, going to be celebrating Santa Claus. And there's her book. It is The Four Santas. Also will help you get through the holidays as well, the craziness of the holiday season. Merry Christmas, everybody. Season's greetings. Happy Kwanzaa. It's also, I believe, the start of Hanukkah as well. So happy Hanukkah as well. And whatever the holiday is, happy Christmas. We welcome you to the Jim Masters Show. I'm in the green. She's in the red. We're all festive for the holiday. We're all ready to go. And again, we're very excited to have an opportunity to celebrate this beautiful holiday and even the origins of Santa Claus and so much more. Liliane, thank you very much for joining us on the show and welcome. Happy holidays.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Jim, for having me. Happy
Oh,
holiday to you too.
The pleasure is all mine. And I really appreciate what you were saying earlier was that you've been watching our series and you've been liking some of the past episodes with the celebrity guests and friends joining us. And you're a new fan and subscriber and viewer, and we appreciate that. Yes. Thumbs up, right? That was a double thumbs up. I like that. Exactly. We're glad that you enjoy our series and our show. That means a lot to us, Liliane. Now, tell the audience where you're from originally, because they're going to hear your beautiful accent.
Well, I'm from France. I came here to the US 10 years ago, and I was naturalized on the steps of Monticello in 2016. It was such a joy to celebrate on the step of Monticello, the house of Jefferson. So anyway, but I was not born in France. I was born in Vietnam. My father was French and my mother Vietnamese, but I came to France very early. So I had no recollection of my life over there.
We want to welcome all of our viewers watching all around the world. We do have an international audience. We want to welcome our Levity family as well. That's folks who enjoy our light, love, and levity here on the show. Everybody who's watching and commenting. We want to acknowledge our faithful and our new viewers and subscribers joining us as well. It's so great to have you here at the Jim Masters Show live. And happy holidays to all of you. So, you're also a dancer. Before we talk about Santa Claus, you're a dancer too. What came first for you? Was it the dancing? Was it the writing? Or all at the same time?
Well, when I was a child, I mean a teenager, I really wanted to write. Unfortunately, I wanted to become a journalist, as a matter of fact, and travel the world and write about what I saw. Unfortunately, this was in the 50s, 60s, and it was not a good idea for women. I was told by my parents, my father, so I was not allowed to go in that direction. But throughout the years, I always wrote in my journal and had fun with that. I became a dancer much later. And I came to the US actually because I was invited to dance here by one of the mentors I met in Paris. So she said, well, when you finish, I was in a dance academy. When you finish, you can come over and we can do some work together. So that's what I did. I came to the US then.
That's amazing. That's a great story. And, to be a published author is something very special and very exciting. And congratulations on the book, The Four Santas. I think it's something really, the cover is beautiful. and all the fabulous illustrations. This book is rich with illustration, and I think that's a great selling point right there.
Mhm.
Santa Claus, of course, is known throughout the world, but lots of youngsters hit an age when they start to ask questions about where did Santa Claus come from and how and why? And in this case, he manages to deliver all these toys to children all over the world on Christmas Eve. But how does he do that? And what are the origins of Kris Kringle and Santa Claus? And what's wonderful about the Four Santas, which is a perfect book, especially for children and grandchildren, even the adults. I say we're just really adults wearing, we're kids wearing adults' clothing.
Yes, I
This
totally agree with you.
is so much that way. Never lose that inner child and that spark for life.
Mhm.
It's your book is really a delightful, beautifully illustrated book that answers these questions and other questions about the world's most famous jolly old elf. So tell us about the book, The Four Santas, how you came up with the title of it, and how you were able to do a little digging and uncovering some of the origins of our beloved Santa Claus.
Well, actually, the story came to me just like that. I have a display that I show every year, and I had little groups of people come to see it. And one time I had about 8 or 10 children, about 8, 9 years old, and their parents were at the back. So I was telling the different stories I created for the display. And one boy came in front of me and said, "Four Santas, that's not right." Because in the display, I have Santa's workshop, and I had found beautiful Santas, all ceramics. It's a collection in doing different things, and I love them. So I just put them together, not thinking any further at that point. And when the child asked me the question, I looked at the other children and said, "You don't know the story of the four Santas?" And of course, they said no. I looked inside, hoping that something would come to my mind because I had to tell something. And inside, on the fireplace, I had put a globe, the Earth globe. And I said, "Children, how many corners in the world?" And somebody said four. And I said, "There you go. Do you think one Santa would be sufficient to go all around the world?" And the story started. And at the very end, I told the children, I said, "Well, now you understand, children. The Santa you saw this year, you might have been puzzled because it didn't look like the one you remembered, but it was simply one of the brothers." And some of the parents at the back were, because it was the right age for children to start doubting. And that gave them an idea on what to say. Now, the display itself, I have to talk about it because it's a labor of love. I hated Christmas until I was an adult because I never had any Christmases. Um, I had a difficult childhood, so my Christmases were not there, gift or anything or celebration. When I was in boarding school, um, I oftentimes remained in the boarding school by myself. I was the only girl left in the boarding school for the Christmas season. I had no gift, nothing. So when I was a young adult, I really was hiding during the season. And when our son was born, I said, "Enough of that. You've got to change your ways because you've got to create beauty and love and fun during the season for that little boy." So when he was 7 months old, the very beginning of that display was a few little animals that I put on a tray with some foliage, and he loved it. And throughout the years, it grew to be now 14 feet by 8 feet by 4 feet plus an extension. And it has This year, it has 31 animations that I create within the display. They're all very tiny. I mean, a little ballerina might be about that big. A little train might be about the same size. So everything is proportioned. And so I created stories and magic, and I invited everybody, young children, also elderly people from homes, um, anybody who needs a little bit of comfort. So that was my revenge in some ways of my bad Christmas memories. Now when I see smile and happiness, that really warms my heart. And that was, to me, it's a great success. So that's the story behind the four Santas. So the four Santas is there on the display. But this year, for the first time, I decided to write the first book of the series, because it will be a series of Christmas stories, Christmas or winter stories, because I have to expand. There are people who don't necessarily celebrate Christmas. So you have the nativity, but you have a lot of other things that are not related, like a bear village and of course Santas, the elves, etc. So
What are some things that you discovered? We don't want to give everything away, but when you were digging in deep about some of the origins of Santa Claus, we've always heard different stories. There's been animations, there's been books, so much research done about where did Santa Claus come from? And of course, there's the story of Kris Kringle going back to Europe, of course. What are some things that you can share about from what you discovered about the origins of Santa Claus?
well, the first origin, the one that takes us the furthest, is um, Saint Nicholas. Actually, I think he was a bishop in Turkey, and he was known for his generosity, giving little gifts, etc., helping others. So that was really the first version. And I think we have Sinterklaas in the Netherlands. Then you have Father Christmas in England, Père Noël in France. So all these are slightly different because of the culture, but the spirit is still there. And nowadays, the Santa Claus embodies all these different um, the goodness of heart, togetherness, love, etc. It's all there. So that's what Santa represents nowadays. So what
Santa,
I've done, what I've done, I have not looked into the origin. I just thought of a story that made sense to me. If I were a child, I would love to hear that story and say, oh. So that's why I created a little story with a little boy who stopped believing um, in Santas because of what I explained. Sometimes they don't remember that Santa was different last year compared to this year. So I created that story to make sense. And I remember the parents, when I told the story, that was over 30 years ago, who went that way. I said, I have a good story. So throughout the years, because I do this display every year, I was able to refine it. And oftentimes because of the reaction of the children around me. So I could add a little something. So that's how it came. But it's I didn't look for any inspiration. It's just something that came, and I refined it throughout the years.
and then like we hear Kris Kringle as well, which I was mentioning is something that is another story that is part of sort of the origin as well, right? It's a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
story.
It's in Germany. Kris Kringle is in Germany, yes.
Yeah,
And if you say Kris Kindle, in Germany, it's Christkindl, like
that's
the
right.
yeah. Here it
I
became
love the way you
Christkindl.
say it.
Yeah, Christkindl. The spelling was slightly changed. Here it became more like Chris, the name of somebody. Kindle. Christ. It's for the little Jesus.
So Christ like Christ.
Hmm.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah, yeah. In
why do you
Germany,
think it's so important that we do keep the spirit and love of Santa Claus alive, especially for the children out there. There's a lot of things in our world and in our society that have been, you know, questioned or pushed aside or just not revered as much as they used to be. And I think Santa Claus is one of those beautiful things that just provides the love, the togetherness, the excitement, the joy, this togetherness. And it's a spirit that goes beyond just the image of a man in a red suit, right? There's something that is very loving about Santa Claus, especially for the kids. And it's important to keep that spirit alive, right?
Yes, and he embodies all the wonderful quality that we carry within us, but we throughout life we just forget about them. And I think it is important during this season, especially anytime, but during this season, to remember that Christmas is a time of togetherness, love, sharing, and also it's a time to look out for those who are unlucky and don't have any of that, so we can share and make sure that they are also included in what we do. That's why I invite people from uh, elderly homes, for instance, because many are very lonely during that time. So I invite them for a little celebration and to tell stories and to hear them too, because I remember groups coming and I usually tell my stories. And then afterwards I say, now it's your turn. So that's what, when we share glühwein and cookies, etc. And at first, normally it's silence. Nobody wants to speak. And then suddenly one start, the other, and then everybody wants to tell something. And what was interesting to me is that obviously, although they lived together in the same home, they never had shared any of that. And some of the stories were so touching. Like one woman said, we didn't have any money. So I would go in my dad's drawer to get the longest socks and to put by the fireplace. And usually there was just a handful of nuts inside. But there was so much love. And that hit me because this is the key. You see, there was so much. That's what she remembers. I mean,
Yes.
the socks and that was an anecdote. But what she really was carrying is the love that she was surrounded with, despite the fact they had no money. So,
Mhm.
and there were many, many other stories. So that's something I'd like to do about the elderlies who had Christmases that were so different, where money was not in a
Plentiful,
no,
right?
no. Nowadays, we are just at the opposite of that. I mean, we have to spend so much money to please, the kids and everybody, and it's not always even well received. So it's a very different. We're at a very different stage now. But I'd like to write about that because it's something we should not forget. That what it is now and what it was then.
Exactly. Well, because the true meaning of Christmas isn't necessarily really about the gift. It's about the love, of course, the birth of Christ, but the love and the togetherness. And it's really the best gift if you have an opportunity to be around your family and your friends during the holidays, and you're around the table and you're having that Christmas dinner and telling stories and childhood memories, and you're sharing a fabulous meal that's been lovingly created. And then you have time to maybe pull out old family movies and tell these stories and read a book like yours and spend time around the tree, the fireplace, whatever it may be. Those are the real gifts, right? Those moments with the people in your life, your loved ones and friends, your family, um, that you have with you now, and those that you're thinking about that are gone, but they're still with you in spirit. That's the true gift, isn't it? The gift of love and togetherness and kindness and empathy that Jesus talks about, but also Santa Claus projects as well.
Yes, and it's important to remember those who have departed. So beside the Christmas display that I do, I have an alcove, and in that alcove are three angels and nice decoration, greenery, etc. Special lights, and they are like dancing lights. So this, to me, is the ancestors' alcove. And when I have people come over here, I say, well, why don't we sit in front of this, meditate or pray, whatever people want to do, and reminisce time with people who are not there anymore. They're here in your heart, and you see, they're somewhere on the other side. They're dancing, they're joyful. So let's have them join us for this celebration. So I have that beside the display, actually, and oftentimes ask people to reminisce those who are past, who have passed.
That's very important to do that, to take that time. What was it like writing the book? Tell us about the process and what was the inspiration for writing the book for you, Liliane?
Well, first, it was interesting because I was not planning on writing a Christmas book, although I have many, many stories. My other book, which is an transformational book about signs and synchronicities, um, I had many people read it, and many told me, mothers, grandmother, why don't you write a book for children based on the messages of this book? And I thought about that. I said, this is fantastic. There is a need for children right now to be empowered to face some challenges that I didn't have when I grew up. And how can I do that? So I thought of creating fairy tales and nicely stories where the children will they can be inspired by one of the kids in the book,
Yeah,
and then oh,
absolutely.
that's me. So I want kids to be different colors, different shape, maybe one even in a wheelchair. Everybody is welcome, everybody together. So I want to create stories based on that little boy Charlie in this book. He has cousins by the sea and he has cousins elsewhere. So he travels sometimes, and when he goes somewhere else, um, he has some friends, cousins, etc. And there is something happening, and one of them will have the strength, will have the idea, will have to do something about it, and they will all help. So I just want to create stories to deal with the difficulties that children have. Bullying is one, death of a pet, uh, skin color, all kinds of things that kids have to face. And I was one of them because I'm half white. So I remember when I was a youngster, sometimes it was not very easy. So I remember all that, but how to write a story that will empower these children and say, I'm perfect the way I am. Um, so that will be one series, and then the other series, of course, is about Christmas. So that came afterwards. I said, wait a minute, this year I can start with the Christmas story because they're right there. Some of them are already written, not in a book format, but just to remember them. So it's not like I have to look for ideas. So that's how this year I created the four Santas. And of course, it was a bit challenging because I never wrote children's book. I tell stories, but it's different. To write and to speak is different. So um, I went to a company called Kidlit, and I was helped by, I received a lot of help and guidance, and it was perfect for me because it's exactly what I needed. So they guided me to create this book, and I'm very pleased with it.
You've done a beautiful job on this book, and we'll have you show the book as well. There's the cover of it. Look how beautiful the cover is, folks. The four Santas, and this is so incredible. It really is a magical Christmas journey. And the book, like you said, the book that preceded it is this one, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
the one there. Yes.
Mhm. Wings from
So
above that one. The Wings from Above won 10 medals, and so far, the four Santas received 2 medals to gold. So I'm
right.
happy.
Yes, this is a wonderful book as well, and these are available on her website. You know, you go to Amazon and everywhere too,
Mhm.
but this is her website as well. You go on her website and you can learn more about the books themselves. But you have the book, the Santa book, there with you, right? You want to show us some of the beautiful illustrations? We'll do a close
There, for instance,
and tell
that's
us what we're seeing and how it all came together.
yes. And I was very lucky because um, I was going to do my illustration. I love to paint and draw. So I had a lot of ideas and sketches already done. But when I was done with the manuscript, I was ready to get started. And the program I have used for over 20 years was sold to Corel. So I went to Corel, tried to find the elements I wanted. I couldn't find it. So I went to my editor. I said, well, I need help here. So she found somebody, her name is Marisan, and she's from Serbia. So I sent her everything that I had, and she's a very talented artist. She put everything together, and I barely had to say anything, but I sent her pages of how I saw the characters. They were very precise. For instance, the clothing. The grandmother always has pearl, the style, etc. So and the Christmas markets were in Europe. I mean, the description is in Europe. So I wanted something that was timeless, but at the same time, maybe reminiscent of the older time, although it's today, just to give some warmth. So that's why, and then in the book, what I like to do, and that's something I really wanted. For instance, I want all the people, the family members, and the four Santas to be very close together. You can feel the love and support. So, for instance, here um, you can see the mother and the grandmother, and you see the grandmother is holding the arm of her daughter-in-law, and further you have the four Santas. And the four Santas, if you look at them, see the way they are, the four brothers, they obviously like each other. There is a hand on the other one back or shoulder, you know, sign of friendship and togetherness. So these are really things I want because it goes beyond the words. Little children won't be able to read the book, but they can look at the pictures. And I really wanted to have that so they can see. Now, for instance, the last one is when he's falling asleep peacefully. So you have the family scene. He has his little dog. He has his hand on his dog, hand on his heart. He's so grateful that now he believes again in Santa. And then you have the daughter-in-law putting her hand on the grandmother. And then you have the father and son. So I really want these things because children will see that. And it's very important for me to have an atmosphere in the book where it's together. There is warmth. People care for each other. So that's why it was created that way.
You obviously had somebody who was very, very talented as an illustrator
Yes.
to assist with that and to sort of follow the storyline and follow your vision for what you wanted
Yes,
to
absolutely.
share, right?
Yeah,
What was
she's
that
very talented.
process like?
Well, I just sent her everything I had, description of each character because I'm going to use them again. So I need to know who they are, what they like, don't like, etc. So I sent all that to her, and I barely had to say no. This is not right. Barely, little details here and there, but it was minor. But otherwise, she understood right away what I wanted. She sent me proofs, and I was very pleased. Yes, her name is Marizan, and she's from Serbia. So I never met her personally. We always work via internet. Um, but definitely she's a very talented lady. And I'm very grateful that she helped me with this book. She did a marvelous job.
It takes a village, right? It takes a village. Some of our viewers watching around the world, Sherry says the cover of the Four Santas reminds me of Jan Brett illustrations. That's a great
Yes, and that's a
correlation.
great compliment because I love Jan Brett. And what I love and what I want to do is because of Jan Brett's illustration around a page, for instance, I like to put stories within stories, little animals. And they might not be related, but what I want is for children to say, oh, how about that? Or the parents, educator reading the book, like here, you have a perfect example. On the first page, here you see a fox right here. Here you see rabbits right here. And it's not related to Christmas, but what I might say, or anybody can say, or children might discover that. And what's happening? What does the fox want? Are they friends? Are they foe? What will happen? So we can make a story about the rabbits and the fox, and maybe they're friends. Um, but a lot of other stories like that, little animals, a little mouse here, and so it's a story within the story. But some little children will love that. I
It's
know
really
when my
amazing. It's such a beautiful thing to do and to have for children. They need these kinds of positive reinforcements because they see so much reality and negativity these days coming at them with technology, the ability to just go online and see lots of toxic and negativity, and
yeah,
seems like
yeah,
the world is coming to an end. And children need to be exposed to positive, reinforcing, inspirational elements of life, because those are the formative years where they're developing their personality and developing set of moral compass and things of that nature. And um, having exposure to beautiful books like this and stories like this, I think, are fantastic. And what's wonderful about this idea of celebrating, Santa Claus and Christmas and the joy and beauty of it all, Liliane, is you're really celebrating the Christmas season with this heartwarming new take on Santa Claus. As in the book, in The Four Santas, you're diving into the delightful Christmas picture book in a way that allows us to discover and uncover the magical origin of Santa Claus and of the holiday, the reason for spreading his joy and love to children throughout the world,
mhm,
and also how he's able to make all those deliveries only in one night. It's perfect for children, ages 5 to 9, but I think older, like us, older
yes,
children will enjoy it as well because it's a good, heartwarming. There's really no age limit from reading on, but it also is a book, even if the child can't necessarily read, they could be read to, beautiful bedtime story like
mhm,
this, and they love all the illustrations and the color and the storyline through the illustrations. So it's a beautiful story to read to a child as well. But again, it's something that it's limitless as far as I think anybody that would have the opportunity to enjoy it. So, from your investigative journalistic research, how does Santa Claus get all those deliveries to all of us in one night and morning? what have you what have you discovered?
well, magic does exist. And Santa Claus was created at a time when the world was in disarray, a lot of negativity, problems, people were suffering. So a magical being was created that was Santa Claus. I think I wrote that in my book. But after a certain length of time, it became too much for him because there were more and more and more children in the world to visit. That's when he thought, I need help. And in the book, that's very important. ask for help when you need it. And you'll be surprised that people you ask for help are gleefully saying yes. So it's one of the little lessons. But anyway, so he asked his brothers, and they were also happy to help him. So that's one of the little lessons in the book. But there are several. It's togetherness. Ask for help. Don't hesitate. Um, and then give really your best in what you do. So the four Santas divide the work. They each have a specialty, and they're able to work together. And I will not tell you the story how they share the load, but they do share the load well. And
Which is a great message on
Mhm,
and sharing the load, because oftentimes in life, we need to, whether we're children or adults, share the load. So that's
mhm.
a great message in the book as well. There seems to be a lot of wonderful messages in the book for children and adults alike,
And
right?
adults, and adults. Now, for adults, I wrote something else you might be interested to know about. It's about the Christmas season can be very, very happy, but stressful too. So I wrote a blog and an article about that, and you'll find the blog on my website actually about that. What can you do to make that period of the year happy and with less stress? And we do it to ourselves. So there are little techniques or things we can think about to minimize um, everything coming up to us, and staying organized and prioritize and plan early, things like that. Don't hesitate to ask. That's one of the things. And delegate tasks to others. And many times they do love um, and have realistic expectations. You know, sometimes we go to a store and or we buy online, and the item we want, that the children want or child wants, um, you can't find it anymore. So what do? Instead of stressing about it, because there is nothing you can do, find something maybe similar or something very different, but you know the child will love it too. And maybe the child can have what he or she is asking later. But things like that. We just have to be realistic. And then it's very important to embrace the spirit of giving during that time. Because when we give, we receive so much in return. So we don't do it to receive, but it's almost automatic. We see the joy on other people's faces, and that warms your heart, really. Even if you're not feeling too good, to give joy to others. And it's not a matter of age. And it's important also to take time to yourself, because many
Hmm.
people were just like that. And at the end, we arrive Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas, we just collapse.
You
I mean,
collapse right
yeah.
afterwards. Yeah.
So it's important to take time for yourself, time to share in the sense that you can organize things. Let's say with neighbors, you're going to bake cookies together, something like that, or with family members. Decorate a tree together, something that brings you with others. So if you're lonely, it's a little bit less loneliness. And it's an opportunity also to share, a fun time. You serve hot cocoa, whatever people want, and then it's fun. It gives wonderful memories of that season. So there are, but you go on my website and you'll see a few blogs, and that's one of the blogs I wrote. That's the latest actually I wrote. So I know Christmas is almost upon us, but some of it is valid for anything we face, any big thing that we have to face. How do we face it and not collapse afterwards because we're so stressed? So um, it's valid the year round.
Which I think is beautiful. There's times too when you're tasked with the opportunity to, we all have roles we play in our lives.
Mhm.
And one of the great ones that I've had an opportunity to play is what we're talking about right now. Now, I could never be the real him. However, I came pretty close in New York City at Carnegie Hall when I was host and MC for a Christmas concert. And part of that with the kids too, all there, and the kids were so, it's amazing when you have the opportunity to become this, even if it's for a short period of time, how people react to you. They're nicer, they're sweeter. And I'm talking just the adults. And
Mhm.
then the kids too are mesmerized. And it's me inside the Santa Claus costume. There I
Mhm.
am playing Santa Claus in New York
Oh, that's you.
City.
Is that you?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
And that's in New York. And it was a big concert event. And one minute
wow.
I was in a tuxedo as the host, and the next minute I would go back in the dressing room and I had to become the Santa Claus. And all
Oh.
the kids were so taken back. So when I was in the hallway with the choir, and they had singers, and it was just really wonderful musicians, and they were all very responsive to the Santa
Mhm.
Claus. Now inside was me, Jim. But once I put the Santa Claus outfit on, the reactions people had, it was amazing. They just were nicer, they were friendlier.
Mhm.
I mean, they're friendly anyway, but the ones that would I'm talking about that I worked with at the concert, but it was just interesting. The kids, there's Santa. Hi, Santa. I mean, it
Oh,
just evokes a
sweet.
loving, warm feeling. And to be on the receiving end of that, it was terrific. I almost didn't want to take that off.
Oh,
Go through
it's
life as Santa Claus.
yeah, it is so wonderful because it's a creation. I mean, it's a magic um, person that was created, and so far, and I hope it will stay that way. There was never anything negative about it. Everything about Santa is goodness, love, warmth, etc., generosity, etc. So, because it embodies so many of these wonderful qualities that people are looking around sometimes and can't find, it's wonderful, and I hope that it will never be spoiled by. I have seen some movies that are starting to be a little bit negative around Christmas, and I'm staying away from that. But I hope that it will not affect Santa because it's so beautiful.
It really is. It tells such a beautiful, story in a way that and your book again, it really, it was a labor of love, wasn't it?
It was like the Christmas display I built. Like this year, it took me one full month, several hours, because it's everything is very specifically placed. I mean, it's. I can send you pictures if you want for you to see because it's really a labor of love. But Santa Claus also in other countries that are not Christians is also part of the Christmas celebration. When I lived in Japan one time, I was driving past a large. I don't know if it was a barber shop or hairdresser. Everybody inside, all the people working inside, were dressed as Santa Claus. It was too funny to watch because I'm sure they don't celebrate Christmas, but they know that this being is good and fun, and they decided all of them to dress as Santa Claus. It was too funny. I passed by and said, "What?"
Every once in a while, like I was saying, that does happen.
Yeah, that was that was so funny. I still have that image in my mind because it was in a faraway land where they don't necessarily celebrate Christmas, but this was quite something.
That's beautiful. I mean, again, the reactions that people have when they hear Santa Claus, or and again, I'm a big proponent to celebrate and to keep it alive
Yes.
for everybody. It's something that you've known since you were a kid. Those who were exposed early, and it's a cool thing, and it's non-threatening, and it's joyous, and yeah.
And
Now there is Charlie. Charlie is shocked. The Santa he saw this year didn't look like the one he saw last year. Why is the difference? Is Santa even real? But happily, Charlie's wise grandmother knows the real tale about Santa and how he brings joy and love to children all around the world, right?
yeah, so I had to create that a story within the story, because I created the story of the four Santas, but I had to put it in a book. And in the book, I had to find a way to bring it, not just talk about Santa, but how it comes to be. And since I'm going to write another story that is not related to Christmas, I already had some of the children in my mind, and I thought, oh, well, that would be perfect. And and that's how Charlie was created. Yes, and he has a little dog, and it's exactly the dog that our son had. It was a dachshund with one ear up most of the time. Go figure. He was a dachshund. Shouldn't have had that, but and so that's why I sent paintings and drawings that I had done of that dog, and that's why Marizanne put it in the book.
I like
So
that. That's a great idea. So you've incorporated. Is there anything else in the book that you've tied from your own life that's in the book? People or
um,
experiences?
mm, not not really, except for that dog. But I remember my boy when he was very little, and when he started to doubt about Santa Claus, etc. So of course I took elements of that. Um, but what I plan on doing, because this book here is to um, help children to believe a little bit longer. But I want to be careful, because as a child, when I discovered that Santa did not exist, who cared, because I will not get any gift, but did not exist. Um, I started to doubt all the adults around me, because they had been lying to me, and I just did not believe in anything else they were telling me, because they've been lying to me. So I suppose there are children out there who might behave that way as well, who might not take it very easily. So what I'd like to do is write another story about the spirit of Santa that we all carry. And I don't know yet how I will write that, but all of us, we have that spirit. We just have to bring it out and make sure we can use it. But it is right there. If we want to do like Santa, we can. We just have to decide to do it, especially around the holiday season. It's easier maybe, because we are paying more attention to those around us, those who maybe don't have luck and need a little bit of uh, support. It's I remember that one group of elderly people, when they came here, at first it was, they walked in and told them the stories. They started to tell me stories, then took them back to their van, and they all started to sing Christmas songs. And they were joyful and waving at me as they were leaving. And I was, oh my God, this is my reward. This made me so happy to see them, the way they were when they arrived and the way they were when they left. So, things like that are priceless.
What is your favorite Christmas song? Do you have a favorite?
No, not really. Um, Most of the songs I'm not very, I prefer music. I prefer more classical Christmases than songs. I mean, some songs are funny, but I get tired after a while to listen again and again. Like you go to a store, it's one song, so I get
Yeah, they
tired.
play the same things over and over, and there's so much more Christmas. I have a huge collection of it, and there's so much more Christmas music out there than what um, you hear the same songs over and over in the stores, and you're like,
I get
there's
tired.
much more than that.
Yeah. To me, I prefer. I prefer. I mean, there are beautiful songs out there, but I prefer
Silent
the music.
Night and
Music
some of the
because I can put on the music the feelings I have. Songs will make me go one way or the other depending on what it is. But the music really carries me, and whatever I feel, it will magnify it. So I listen to a lot of music, but songs are nice too, except not the whole day.
Exactly, yeah, sometimes again, and it's repetitive in terms of what they're playing over and over. What about, favorite Christmas traditions in your family, Lillian?
I didn't grow up. I grew up in until I was 18. I was in boarding school, so we didn't have any. And as I said, when I was a child,
It
um,
wasn't, yeah.
well, no, I couldn't. I was not allowed to talk to other children, play with other children. So I was very isolated. And my caregiver was not a nice person. No, don't get me wrong. I forgave everybody, and I went one step further. I thanked them because I am today who I am because of what they did. So probably I needed that to become maybe a little bit better than I would have otherwise.
And it
So,
and
but it
inspired
was
the beautiful books and this wonderful love for the season and for the holiday, right?
yes, and that's the only way to be free, actually, to just not only forgive but thank. Because suddenly the people that you were looking at, considering as difficult to deal with, suddenly you don't look at them quite the same way. They help you on your path. So that's how I see that. But I don't have any tradition that came much later when I was an adult with my boyfriend's family, or um,
What will you be doing this year?
what we are doing. Well, we have two granddaughters. One is 3, one is 6,
Those are
and
gifts. Yeah.
oh yes, that's so wonderful. And then our son and his wife live 20 minutes from here, and she's Irish. The whole family arrives this week. So you have the other grandparents and our 2 sisters. So the house will be full, and it's so joyful because they are Irish. So they have the Irish tradition, which is slightly different. So for the granddaughters, it's wonderful because it gives 2 ways of looking, different ways of looking at the holidays, and even the food will be different because they celebrate a way. I celebrate my French turkey
Mm.
with chestnuts and prunes soaked in cognac, and I put cognac in the stuffing, and um, and wine, and oh, it's very complicated. 3 meat. That's my stuffing. So, and a lot of chestnuts. I mean, a lot of chestnuts cooked and then mixed with the stuffing. So that's
That
my.
sounds good. We have a foodie crowd. We have our viewers love when we talk about food. So,
Mm,
especially here at holiday time, that
oh yeah,
sounds so
that's a great old French recipe. Like we
yes.
stuff the turkey with the chestnuts, 3 meats,
Mm,
with a bit of cheese, egg, onion, prune soaked in cognac overnight, and then everything is chopped. Um, and then of course lots of chestnuts. So it is very good. I mean the stuffing by itself could be used without the turkey, really. But
exactly.
just to stuff the turkey, and the smell
Yeah.
is wonderful. So
If
that's my
anybody loves the French cooking, they should go back in the archives on the Jim Masters show and our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and scroll back and see the wonderful episode we did with extraordinary and renowned French chef Jacques Pepin, who's a
Yeah, I
he's a
saw that
dear
also.
friend, and I've
Yeah.
interviewed him on PBS, and he came on the show. Said,
Mhm,
"Jacques, would you like to come on the show?" We talked about his career and his foundation and
mhm.
different foods and his cooking process, how he got started, and um, he's a wonderful person, and obviously does more than just French cooking, but he had a wonderful friendship with Julia Child as well, and did
Oh,
some PBS specials with them, and we had the pleasure of developing a friendship
mhm.
through my work on public television. And then he came on the show, and he's wonderful. He's a terrific ambassador for France and for French cooking.
Oh, I will look. Yeah, I saw the name and I thought, well, I didn't have the time to watch, but I'm going to make my list. I mean, you have so many, it will be many, many, many nights of
That'd be
watching.
terrific, right? So many
Yeah.
nights. So the young ones in your family, they love Santa Claus, right?
Oh yes, oh yes. And my husband um, will dress as Santa Claus and go to the house, and I'm there at the window. Oh, did you see? Oh my God, I saw a streak of light. Oh my God, I'm sure it's Santa, and it was going down. I'm sure it's
It's
he
got to be
arrived
Santa.
somewhere.
That
So
has
I
to
play the
be.
whole role, and then suddenly we hear knock, 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 and the bell, no, the bells, and my husband shows up. So it's too cute, and they're still at an age where it's so fantastic to see the joy in their eyes and the wonderment. It's fantastic. It brings the inner child out.
You know,
You
it
know.
really does. It really, really does. And again, the book that you've written is something very, very special. And I like the idea of it being called The Four Santas. And you know, we're living in fast-paced times too. So even just trying to get through the shopping, the cooking, the baking that people do, the traffic, the flying, we're going to be with our family as well, and in beautiful Florida. And we usually fly down, but we're going to be driving down. We're going to be doing that whole Interstate 95 Northeast all the way through all
Mhm.
the different states, and it's a long trip, and
It
but a
is.
beautiful trip. And sometimes we stop off, and but there's snacks and Christmas carols and everything. Well, the family's all loaded in the car, and we have other family that's in Florida who are originally from the Northeast.
Mhm.
So we love to spend some nice holiday time with our
Oh,
family there. And plus, I love the ocean too. I'm an ocean person. You got
mm.
to drag me away from the ocean. I grew up near the ocean.
Where
Uh,
did you grow up?
in New York, out east
Oh,
on Long Island,
mm,
which is surrounded
yeah.
by the South Shore is the Atlantic, and the North Shore is the Long Island Sound, which separates Long Island, New York from New England, from
Mhm.
Connecticut, and the New England states. So, yeah, so looking forward to that as well. And do you have any time off coming up? You're going to be off for a while now, and for the holiday?
Um, no, not really, because I have to. My other book here. Um, I'm working to make it become an evergreen because it is timeless. All the things I write about are timeless, and it's to help others. So I'm working on that, and then I have the second book to write. I already have the story for the second book. It's going to be full of magic with a lot of singing and dancing and joy, but again, asking for help. And that's what it will be. Having an idea, start to create, and it's an elf was a great idea because there was no light in the sky for a few days leading to Christmas. And the reindeers were, no, we're not going to take off. No, no, we can't go. So he had an idea. And from that idea, which involves a lot of other elves and the fairies, etc., they saved the night. Suddenly, there were lots of stars again in the sky, and the four Santas can live as planned. So, so basically, that's in a nutshell. That's the story.
Very nice. Very beautiful.
So
Uh,
lots of singing and dancing and happiness and
that's what it's about, right?
yeah, yeah. So I don't know how
Absolutely.
I'll do that because in it, because I want singing and dancing and a lot of happiness. I'd like to see it move as well. So I don't know if I should do that also as a little video or something. I'm not 100% sure there because I really see very clearly all that movement that is so happy and colorful, etc.
Exactly. And that's playing off your incredible dance background, right?
Hmm. Yes, and it's very important. I love to dance in the morning when instead of meditation because after I'm done, everything is so calm. And I discovered that one time I was going to meditate and I put a music that was wrong. It was a little bit too much movement. And I said, okay, well, let's dance. And after I was done, everything was so calm. I started, I was not happy that day. At the end, it was, what was what was bothering me, things like that, because for about 5 minutes I was there dancing, being very happy, and at the end, wow. So I decided to incorporate that in my meditation. And the way I teach children, like I started when my eldest granddaughter was 4, take her outside, and I said, listen and feel. Can you feel the wind on your arm or your face? What does it do? Does it push you? Does it make you move? Sound, look, sound of the bird, your feet, etc. So according to the surrounding, what's there, I had her move. Close your eyes and move. And she does that beautifully, and she loves it. And she differentiates between the dances that she sees on TV and what Gigi, that's my name, she calls me Gigi, does. So she likes to dance like me. So we go outside or by the sea in front of the waves. And then I think, look at the movement. It's rolling. Can you see the birds on top? Can you hear them, etc.? And then she starts moving with that. And she just doesn't think, she just feels. And I think all the children can do that. Or every
Absolutely.
kid can, adults too. I do that with adults too, because I have some classes and I tell them, look, turn the back to each other. They don't have to see each other if they don't want to. And then we get started. And I said, you don't have to move much. You can even start seated if you want to. Listen to whatever sound or turn on some music. Where does it touch you? Is it here? Maybe your hand wants to move and your hand might want maybe your arm, and then it takes your body and then you get up and yeah. So I tell them to do things like that because it's a lot of fun. And you can do it with the limitation that some people have. It's okay. That's why I said just be seated to start with. It doesn't matter. What you receive is right here. And that's how it makes you move. So, it could be just the hand and the head. And so,
That's beautiful to bring them in and have them start dancing away and, they love that, right?
yeah. And anybody can do that. You don't have to learn techniques or anything.
No.
We all have that. You look at children, they can
Yeah,
all dance, paint, sing. They can do
right.
all that. And then,
And Santa
wow,
loves to dance too, right?
yes, of course.
Sa Santa Clauses love to dance.
Yes, yes, and I'm sure that in my story with the elves dancing, the Santas will be also moving around a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe even the reindeers. We know those are.
That's the 3 Santas versus the 4th. The 4th one, I guess, is
He's
going out
filming.
to
He's filming.
yes, right. Exactly. The other one went out to get the hot cocoa
Oh,
while
oh,
those three were
oh,
dancing
with marshmallow, right?
with the marshmallow. Yes. Do you
And you know
like to
what else?
bake?
Hmm?
Do you bake? Do you bake? Do you like to bake?
Um, a little bit, but not. I really don't have time to do much because I've been so busy here. But one thing I serve is glühwein. Do you know glühwein?
You know, I've
It's the
heard of
German
that. Tell us about that. You have an aunt
German.
who is originally from Vienna, Austria. She lives here. She lives up in Massachusetts,
Yeah,
but she's mentioned that. I haven't
yeah.
tried it. Tell the viewers about it.
Oh, it's wonderful. Glühwein is red wine that is spiced, and you serve it hot. So when you go to a Christmas market in Europe, as you enter the market, you start smelling the scent of the glühwein or vin chaud, or yeah, it's a hot spiced wine basically. And you smell that it's so wonderful. So you find the source, of course, and you can get a cup of the year. So you have the name of the market and the cup, or you can buy in a cardboard, I mean, a regular goblet that you throw away. But you go around the market and it's cold. So you have that wonderful scent. It warms your hands. It's something very wonderful to experience. But I serve it at home, and I can make my own. But if you if you receive just a few people, it's not worth it because whatever you make, if it's not being if people don't drink all of it, then you have to throw it away. Now, what they have, I go to Wegmans here, but maybe they have other places. They have bottles from Nuremberg, which is the oldest Christmas market in Germany. So they have bottles, and what you do, you just pour whatever you need in the pan to heat it up, but you don't have to waste everything. You don't. You have three people, you serve for 3 cups. I mean, you warm up 3 cups, and it's really very good. It's really very good. I was wondering at first, but I tasted it and said it's worth it because otherwise it's wasted. So you can find it, but be very careful because there are several copies out there that. Um,
Are
but the
not
one I
exactly
get
the real thing, right?
is from Nuremberg, from Nuremberg.
Mm,
So that's
that's.
what it is. It's a black bottle with a nice. Yeah, it's a.
Do you get a chance to go back to Europe? Do you still have
I have
family and
not
friends that are there?
not many are left, but I have not since the pandemic.
Yes,
Really.
right.
'Cause with the pandemic, like you started your YouTube channel
I
and
started on the side, and now it's become this big show, and it's amazing because I have a full-time career in television and radio, and I do all these things, and then this has become this is something that has been a labor of love, and the amount of time and attention has been extraordinary, and it was something that I was doing on the side, here and there, and um, to stay connected with everybody. This series, the Jim Masters Show Live, and it's just turned out to be, a labor of love as well. Lots of labor and lots of love.
yeah, but the result is there. I mean, I saw you have some fascinating people and my husband who loves a lot of older movies. He's American. He loves a lot of other older movies he grew up with. We'll be very interested to listen to some of the people who were children a long time ago. And
Exactly.
yeah, so we saw that. And
And I like to keep, as you're seeing here with this conversation, I like to keep it like the old school talk shows where it was conversational, it was warm, it was fun, it was free flowing. It wasn't necessarily a tightly scripted
mm,
interview. It was really a conversation because I think the viewers, I know I love listening to and watching when people are having a nice conversation versus just the typical structured interview per se, because they're always going to ask the same questions, and the person's usually reading something that they've pre-written or they're looking down, and it's very, it can be very, I've done a lot of that work in television and radio, but in this style, I think warmer, more conversational, which
Yes.
is my personality anyway, suits this style. It's current, it's modern, but yet at the same time, it harkens back to the old school ways when people had conversations and weren't always so rushed to get through all the craziness of life. A lot of people have said that. They say we're bringing back the lost art of conversation, and I love hearing that when people say that because that's
Mhm.
that's the intent. So I'm glad you picked up that vibe
Yes.
in watching past episodes, and
Well, I love that too, because especially when you created that during the pandemic or at the
yeah,
beginning of the pandemic, people were isolated. And I think it's nice when you view something, but you have the impression you're part of it. You're like watching people talk by the fireplace, or, something very much more relaxed and something very, it's so structured that after a
rushed,
while you get
right?
tired of it. You just
Exactly.
disconnect. Here you feel that you could actually come in and join the conversation. It would be okay. So that's what I enjoy very much. This is what I try to give when I write. Um, it's more conversational in some ways, with little anecdotes here and there. To me, when I was writing, it's like I was seated by a fireplace. People were with me, just a few, and I was telling stories. You see? So that's the style I like, because it's so much more personal and human, instead of, you feel you have a machine between you and something you're not really part of the conversation.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. And, our viewers have been commenting and we've been sprinkling some of their comments on the screen. Viewers who are watching live, we're doing the show live right now. So we
Mhm.
welcome everybody watching live. We also welcome those who will watch this later in the archives. It will be archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. If you are enjoying this episode and all the ones who enjoy, give it a hearty thumbs up, interact with us, drop a comment right below. What do you love about Christmas, Santa Claus, or any of the conversation we're having with Liliane? And we love hearing back from you, and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Marcia is absolutely loving the conversation. Marsha Watson. She's a big fan, longtime viewer, love it on our show. And of all the things she wants to know, she is getting right to it. Where does she get that porcelain skin? It's beautiful. They want to know your skin regimen because you have this beautiful porcelain skin.
Oh,
That's
thank you so much.
beautiful. Thanks for the question, Marsha.
Thank you. I'm 75.
What? No way.
I try to keep myself in
I,
good shape, physically,
75. I
mentally.
want to know too then, because I work in
A
television.
lot of it, some could be genes, some is the way you live, way of life, what you eat. Um, and it's a lot the way you approach your life. If you try to remain positive, even when things are not going well, but try to find the silver lining somewhere, it does help, because stress um, is terrible for the skin, for the body in general, for a lot of things, but it does show on the skin. And also have a good morning and evening regimen. That doesn't mean take a long time, but take care of your skin. It's alive, and it will be happy if you take care of it. So, yeah. But thank you so much.
I'm sure they're all taking notes. No, my aunt from Austria says the same thing. People always ask her, Dorith is her name, where do you get that, beautiful, flawless skin? And what products, what are you spending? You must spend hundreds of dollars. She said, just regular soap and water and hydrating. And that's, nothing, not all these chemicals, not all this stuff. And the basics, going back to the basics.
Mhm.
And that's a
And have a good, healthy life, which means
Attitude,
exercise,
positivity.
yeah, exercise, um, also the approach of life. I'm going to write
Yes,
something about the importance of learning, even at the
exactly.
age, because it keeps our mind open, it keeps our mind working, memory, etc. And at the same time, it's a lot of fun because there are so many things to learn, and it's priceless to be able to discover things. And the more I learn, the more I discover I don't know much because there is so much more behind.
Exactly right. We think we know so much, but there's a lot more to be discovered and learned.
It keeps you humble. You say, "Oh God, I don't know that," but it's fun. It's fun, and yeah, I mean, I'm interested in so many things because I feel that everything is interconnected. You learn something here, and maybe a few months later you learn something here, and you say, "Oh my God, I already," and and you notice that there is connection. So it's priceless and it's fun. And but I was always that way, and I kept it as an adult. And now I'm not in school asking. I was always the one with teacher, teacher. I always wanted to know things. My book was full of paper because I had question about that page, and I would
Notes, taking notes, and
pen and
yeah,
a pen for the others. But anyway, I'm still pretty much that way. And I think it's important to keep your a child's heart and your inner child alive, to be able to do silly things. You think it's not right because you're older. Well, when my granddaughter wants to jump into mud um, puddles, there I am. And we jump until we're so wet and dirty, but it's
you're jumping in the puddles with her, right?
fun. Mm. Oh, I showed her
That's
at first.
great.
No, I taught her at first the
Because
joy
most
of
people would
jumping.
say, "Get out of that mud, get out." No, no, they're having a good time, you
Oh,
know?
it's fun. It's fun. So there are lots of things when you look at little kids. Some of you might have some grandchildren. And just look at the way they do things. Like they might take you down the street and it will take a long time because you have to stop everywhere. They see things, they're closer to the ground, they see things you don't see. And then they're very interested, ask a lot of questions. And sometimes you discover little things that, oh, that beautiful little stone. I didn't know that there were stones like that, etc. So you learn, and it's a lot of fun. And for
It
those
is.
who have children, we'd like to teach them art and want to take them to museum. I have a tip for you. When my son was about 7 or 8, we were in Venice. We lived in Venice at that time, no, near Venice. And there were lots of museums. So I wanted to go, but I had to take care of my child. So I said, I'm going to take him with. But how do you take children to museum and enjoy it? So I decided to create a game. I would read at night passages of the Bible because up until the 12th, 13th century, the paintings are essentially scenes from the Bibles. And then I would also read him passages of the Greek mythology, because after the 15th century, it's essentially based on a lot of Greek stories, Greek mythology stories. So at night, I would read him stories, and then I would choose the stories according to the paintings I wanted him to see. We would go to the museum, and then I would say, "Hey, in this room, why don't you look for the flag to Egypt?" So he would go, and then he found it. And the interesting thing for an adult is that he would see things that were not in the story I told him, and then he would go further. He would go behind that building, behind that tree, and so we would be in front of a painting, uh, imagining how much more in that painting there was that we could see, but we could, in our mind's eyes, we could see that. So it was very interesting. And after he was done, I would choose 5 or 6, no more, because that was enough. I would give him the choice to go to the museum, to the zoo or the aquarium, and he would want to stay because he would see things that I did not see. It was at his eye level. He would take me around, and he would become my little teacher. So suddenly I was following and, say, oh, that's great, And it was fantastic because there was a contact and he would learn a lot. And it's, learning about art that way is a lot of fun and we would be hands on. Sometimes I would have a mirror. I say, look at, or when the guards were not watching, lay down. So we'd lay down in the museum. We could, until the guards came and, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Things like that. Little silly things, but it was a lot of fun and he learned so much. When he was older, actually took art, did painting, and he remembered very well a lot of things we talked about. But he learned just like that, almost by osmosis, the little stories. But anyway, that's a little tip. If anybody wants to do that, it's great. It's fun.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful tip. It's a fantastic tip. Yeah.
Yeah,
Another tip here on the Jim Master Show. We always say, you learn something all the time here on our show.
and
And
that's the great
yeah,
great part of your show, learning something
and by
new.
having conversations, that's how you learn, by having the conversations. What would be a blessing or a wish that you would like to leave with everybody watching around the world live and who are watching this later for maybe the holidays and the new year?
Okay, I'll give you a little tip that you can do wherever you are. It's to send love or whatever somebody needs. Sometimes you can send from your heart. You're not there, you can't hug them. But what you can do, so what I do, it's like I visualize a crystal that I put in my hand right here. I visualize it. And then I put it at the level of my heart. And then I look at it and it's beautiful and very brilliant. And then I take my other hand, put it on top, and I feel that crystal grow and grow while I infuse that crystal with as much love or whatever the people need. It could be healing, it could be whatever. And it grows, it grows, it grows. And it grows so big. It's almost like a beach ball and it's still brilliant. And what I do, I just hold it, think very strongly of the person I want to send this. And then I go, and then it's gone. And I had some interesting results with that from people I sent things to. And they did feel they were on the receiving side and they
Uh,
felt it. So it's something very simple. Anybody can do that. So again, a little crystal, look at it, and at the level of the heart, and look at it. And then it's growing. It's very brilliant. Put your other hand, and then it's growing, and infuse it with all the goodness that you can muster and more, whatever is needed when you think of that person. There. And it's right here like a beach ball. And you send it. So just a little tip.
and since I love the ocean, I'm going to catch that beach ball and then I'll toss it to somebody else. That's what it's all
Exactly.
about, right? That's
Yes.
what it's
But
all about.
remember when you grab it, infuse your own whatever you want to put inside. Or you can create your own if you want to and
Your
send
life force, your aura, your energy, your vibe. Yeah.
anything. Some people sometimes need a little extra, and you can send it yourself that way. And it's not a matter of distance. I do that typically, well, I've done that for the past towards Europe. So I know in which direction it is. So I turn in that direction. It doesn't really matter. But for me, I feel that, okay, I'm turning towards the east and I'm standing it and I visualize the people receiving it. And it's just a little something that is pleasant, easy to do, doesn't request anything from you except that visualization and whatever you want to share.
That's beautiful. And we've shared quite a bit here today, more than probably you expected. But now you've experienced the Jim Masters Show experience, and we've had an opportunity to also celebrate wonderful Santa Claus as well at holiday time on the eve, getting close to that magical time when Santa arrives and comes with those gifts and the love for everybody. And of course, you share it in your wonderful book, The Four Santas, that we're so excited about sharing here on the show. Congratulations, Liliane, on the book. I know, again, it was truly a labor of love, full of beautiful illustrations. If you're joining us later in the show, with the show in progress, everybody, um, she showed us some beautiful up close illustrations from the book itself, told us the story of the book and how it plays off other works of hers as well, and some other beautiful things that are coming down the pike for her in the new year. And we
Mhm.
also shared that I got a chance to play Santa Claus in New York City
This
for a
is
big concert event as well, which was beautiful. So a lot of sharing and a lot of wonderful conversation and memories here on the show. But again, wonderful stories about the origins and the magic of Santa Claus here on the show. We're wishing everybody a very merry and a happy wherever you are around the world. We love having you here. It's a wonderful show to have as we're getting ready to celebrate the holiday. Jane says in Sweden, she watches in Sweden, Santa Claus is called Tomten in Swedish. Yeah. My great grandmother comes from Sweden, from Gothenburg, and was a princess in the royal family, and there's a castle there in Gothenburg.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of family history there on my mother's side of the family. Kind of cool when you dig deep, huh?
Mhm.
Yes, and we have French actually on my mother's side as well. English, Swedish, and French on that side, and English, Irish on dad's side
Woo.
as well. So yeah, nice Northern European mix there. Really
Mhm.
beautiful having this conversation with you, Lillian. And different spelling, but my father's mother, grandmother, who came from Ireland, her mother came from Ireland, is Lillian. And one of my mother's sisters, Lillian.
Ah.
So, see,
I noticed you have several um, Irish artists uh, on your
we've
YouTube
had some
channel.
wonderful Irish performers and singers. Yeah, some of that comes from my years on public television, PBS. I've interviewed many of them over the years on PBS, so we became friends. And then when I started the Jim Master Show Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series, that's a
Mhm.
mouthful. Many of them wanted to come on the show, so they come
Mhm.
on regularly from Celtic Woman and Celtic Thunder and Sir James Galway and Phil Coulter and the legends have been with us, and so we're all friends. And then yeah, and then I bring out my Irish side when we have the conversations with them. So it's a lot of fun.
Ah.
A lot, a
Well,
lot of fun. Irish crack, as they call it.
well, I sent that to my daughter-in-law who lives close by because she's Irish, and her parents, as I said, are
Oh,
well, of course, they're Irish.
so they
So
love it, huh?
part of the
The
uh,
history and the
family
culture.
is Irish
Exactly.
now. So I noticed that. I said, "Oh, I have to send that to them."
Send that, yes, send the links. You can share the links. They can subscribe to the
Mhm.
YouTube channel and follow all the great shows, including this one with you, Lillian.
Oh,
Beautiful conversation. And
thank
again,
you so much, Ian.
congratulations. There is the book, The Four Santas, and there is her website. We've been showing it through the show as well. You can learn more about her incredible books, her writings, her dancing. Yes, she's also an accomplished dancer as well, and so much more. I wish you and the family a beautiful holiday season, a very, very Merry Christmas, and all the blessings of the new year. And I really hope you enjoyed the time with me, and you'll
Oh,
come back and see us again in the new year. We could talk about some other things that you're doing and writing and things that you're celebrating. You're a wonderful guest, a great delight to have on the show. And
thank
I
you
hope you
so much.
enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you.
I have. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was like an old friend in some ways, and there was no fireplace, but it's the type of atmosphere that you set. We're sitting together and comfortably, and darn, I should have brought glühwein.
Right? That would have been good, right? Well, never say never, right?
Yes, well, you live in New York, right?
We're here in the tri-state area. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yep. I
Well,
mean,
if you happen to come my way, you're very welcome.
beautiful Virginia. Absolutely.
We live
Absolutely.
close to the Blue Ridge
The Blue
Mountains.
Ridge Mountains are beautiful. That's
Oh, it's
right.
gorgeous.
Gorgeous area there.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for stopping by the Jim Masters Show series live and celebrating the holidays with us, and of course, Santa Claus and your books and your passion for life, Lillian. Really
thank you. Thank you
beautiful.
so
And
much.
definitely come see us again. And I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. It was such a delight to be able to have a wonderful conversation with you. It was so warm and fun and just perfect. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much. I appreciate that. And again, you be well. You take care. Congratulations on everything and all the very best, Lillian.
You too. Jim.
All right. Bye bye now.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. You want to say it in French?
Oh, au revoir. Au
Au
revoir.
revoir.
Joyeux Noël. Joyeux Noël à tous.
Very nice. Thank you very much, my friend. We'll see you again and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Liliane Fortna here on the show. Really fantastic, Liliane Fortna. And just had a wonderful conversation with her. And we talked a little bit about the origin of Santa Claus. How did it happen and how did he originate? And then also her fabulous book. Liliane Fortna is a wonderful writer and author, an accomplished dancer, and just a really fantastic person. We loved having all of you here as well. And we wish you the best of the holidays too. Take a look at some of our comments here. Then I have to scoot off. I'm on the radio live in 15 minutes with another hat that I wear. We love having you here and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful, very happy Christmas. It's also the start of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah to all of our friends celebrating Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and best for the new year as well. Sherry, Merry Christmas, everyone. Safe travels. Love and hugs to you. If anybody's traveling anywhere, safe travels. We will be as well as we go to warm and sunny Florida with our family to visit family and spend a wonderful holiday. Wishing each of you a very Merry Christmas. Hope you get to spend it with those you love. We will. You as well, Maureen in Arizona. And thank you, Sherry in Kansas, USA, and Jane watching in Sweden. Merry Christmas, everyone. You as well. And Marcia, she got her answer about the porcelain skin. Great to meet you, Lillian. And everyone enjoy the holidays. Jim, be safe. And that long drive to beautiful, the Sunshine State, Florida. Absolutely. And Jane says her mom was named Lillian, which is one of the three names. That's beautiful. Maureen also said, Lillian, you are a beautiful human. Thank you for being here and sharing the background on your successful books. I'm going to get a copy for each of my grandchildren. Merry Christmas to you. Jane enjoyed herself as well. Great, interesting show. Thanks, Lillian, for being here. Merry Christmas to you. Thanks, Jim, as well. Love all the great comments coming in live. Don't forget to leave a comment below. We would love that. Kathleen Walker in New York City. These are some of our regular faithful lovities chiming in here live in our chat room, Levity Hall chat room. Thank you for being here, Lillian. This was wonderful. You are delightful. Wishing you continued blessings. Good luck with the books. They sound amazing. They make great gifts for people as well. And again, it's not just for the kids. It's for all of us who are adults wearing, well, actually, kids wearing adult clothing. I was going to say, if we were adults wearing kids' clothing, that might be questionable, unless you're acting in a play or something or on TV. But, or wearing a clown, maybe you're wearing a clown suit. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and happy, healthy New Year. Lovely hugs. Yes. Jane says, I'll be home for Christmas. Guess what? I will be too. I'll be home for Christmas. Yes. All right, gang. From this Santa Claus, yours truly, and from all the Santa Clauses that are out there, we had an opportunity to really celebrate a very, very Merry Christmas, everybody. Season's greetings, happy holidays, best of the season, happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah from myself and all of us here at the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle celebrity talk show series. You can follow us on social media at Instagram, Facebook, and X at Jim Masters TV. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the Jim Masters Show. Wherever you're watching, we have viewers that watch all across the United States, which is where we are here in America and the New York area. We have lots of viewers watching us in beautiful Canada, Mexico, all throughout North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, New Zealand. We love it, and it's really terrific. Wherever you're watching, we love having you here. So you have a beautiful and very, very merry and happy everybody. A real treat having you here. We love putting these shows together, try to give you the best every year with all these celebrity friends and guests and great conversations with all of you and just celebrating it all in style and hope you enjoy it. Always interact with us. If you enjoyed this episode, this holiday themed episode, and we'll have Liliane back as a guest as well. She's now part of our family of great guests. Be sure and celebrate us by giving us a thumbs up like. We would love that, a thumbs up like. And there's a little thumbs up icon there on the channel. Thumbs up, share this on your social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and leave a comment right below. We would love that. It really means a lot to us when you do that. So again, really terrific. And we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And a little something. And that's with talking for 2 hours straight and on the radio all this morning and many more shows today. And then I've got a TV shoot and then we're good. We're heading out with the family. We love you all. And thanks for being with us. Spread the word about our show. Come back and see us again. We are the Jim Masters Show. This is Levity Hall, and this is your place to come escape from all the craziness of life. And we just really appreciate you guys being here with all of us. And we thank you. Yes, our theme song wanted to play, but I want to thank everybody first. There you go. A big thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And come see us again. All right. That's it. That's a wrap. Be well, everybody, wherever you're watching around the world. As I always say, love one another. Take care of one another. Don't forget to take time for yourself and be sure and come see us again. And thank you for your time this time. Till next time, right here on the Jim Masters Show live series. Be well. And again, a happy and merry from all of us. We love you all. See us again. Happy New Year, too. Love you all. Cheers.